What's up, everybody? Welcome back to TikTok by the Investing Circle, where we share all things financial freedom and making your money work for you. Today, we're talking hard money, part 2, when $75 would cover rent for a month. Now, I did just talk about the house hacking with a duplex, and this is really important because the whole reason to house hacking is making that payment a little more affordable and making this work for a lot of other people. Now, I got a comment on one of our budgeting articles. If you can budget on a teacher's salary, you've got a great system, that just made me have to share and tie exactly to this series. The comment was, when I began teaching in 1970, my take-home pay was a little over $300 a month. I was already working on my master's degree. My apartment rent was $75 a month. My car payment was $95 per month. I not only lived on that, I saved carefully $20 per month. What I could not do was buy stuff in my classroom. I knew what I had to live on and made it work. Now, this was such an important comment for me because times have changed, which is why we're talking about house hacking a duplex and other real estate blueprints for people to build wealth and build their income. Now, there was a fact and time when you could survive off of $300 a month. Apparently, it was 1970 based on this comment. It was unbelievably shocking, and I do have the numbers now. In 1970, the median monthly rent was $108. Now, things have definitely changed. This proves that overall expenses were lower back in the 70s, and while this person wasn't exactly living a cushy life, they were making it. Keep in mind, the average salary of a teacher in the 70s, because this was a comment on a teacher's salary, was about $9,000. Now, fast forward to 2023, and now the median rent is $2,000, $2,029 to be exact, and the average teacher salary is sitting at about $68,000, and that's actually kind of high. That's an experienced teacher. The rent equates to 36% of the salary for that 1970 versus the 25% in the commenter's example. Now, who actually cares? Why is this important? A lot of people do, but not really for the right reasons. Many in my generation are regularly reminded what worked in the generation prior, and that back in my day, things were different. So the older generation wants to remind the new generation that they rubbed a little dirt on their plan and hard work, and everything turned out okay after 50 years of working the same job. Then our generation wants to use this data to show how things are different and how it's affecting our generation's ability to build wealth and grasp our financial freedom. Well, pop, things were different. So different that the blueprints you used to build wealth need to change. The ways we make money are different. The prices are different. W-2 income hasn't kept pace with inflation. Yet, that doesn't mean your grandpa doesn't have a point. So, both generations are right and very wrong. One point for the boomers here, where they're right, there are in fact blueprints like real estate investing that still hold true, like what we're talking about here. House hacking with an FHA loan. There are ways to get creative with financing and build wealth that have held true for decades. Doesn't mean they'll always be there, but there are some things that the older generation did that we can use today, just with a little twist on it. Millennials need to recognize that there is a system in place and take time to understand it. Taxes, dividends, real estate, etc. There are still ways to build wealth that have worked for quite a while and that they have slowly adapted to our current economy. Instead of a "I can't afford it" attitude, we should turn over to "how can I afford it?" Some of those really lends itself to living with parents a little longer, keeping roommates for a little longer, cutting expenses, all of which are challenging, and this is where boomers lose touch with reality. Minus 2 points for the boomers here, where they're wrong. Back in my day, doesn't work anymore, to an extent. As seen in an example that we're talking about here, expenses that outpaced income in the classic quote-unquote work at your job for 65 years won't get the freedom and really independence most desire, or really retirement for that matter. To see pay increases, millennials must move on to a different job after 5 years. Rent has ballooned, and the digital world has made having a side hustle a real thing. Since most of the older generation is coming up on retirement with pensions and wealth that was built over decades, there is a massive disconnect with what the younger generation has to tackle. Our generation has to adapt and change to increased expenses, stagnant income, with the same world turmoil, if not a bit worse. While we're extremely resilient in adapting to the changes through the creator economy, side hustles, and creative finances, we still need the support from our older generation. Remember, folks, we can't pay $75 in rent a month anymore, but that doesn't mean what our grandparents and parents say don't really have merit. There is a nice in-between where both generations can see eye to eye and accept the very apparent differences, and hopefully learn from one another. Thanks for stopping in today and enjoying Hard Money Part 2. If you got any questions, comments, leave them in the comment section below. If you want to share an idea on what you want to hear next, please let us know. Have a great weekend.